There was a report that at least three teams will come calling for his services next year.
If you are a Raiders fan who does not want Tom Brady to join the team, then you might be in luck today. Tom Brady looked the lowest he has ever looked in this matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. We no longer see big plays from Brady. What we see most of the time is him frustrated during games, yelling at teammates, screaming at them, screaming at referees. And Brady's biggest talent these days is not actually throwing the football, but asking for flags, dramatically reacting to QB hits to try to get some roughing the passer calls, and it works. Brady does get tons of flags all the time. We're almost at 43,000 subscribers. Hit that red subscribe button for more Raiders content. And this is what we see from Tom Brady, and we also see the dirty plays. This is what he's known for now than great football plays, trying to actually target the ankle of this player here by sliding and kicking. And we've seen this behavior from Brady before, trying to kick people in the nuts who end up sacking him. He has gotten his offensive coordinator fired, Byron Leftwich. This was just announced today. After this past offseason, he got his head coach moved away from the head coaching position. Bruce Arians is now some type of senior advisor or something, not even allowed on the sidelines. But despite the fact that Brady is not making plays, the blame goes around to everybody around him, whether it be the coaches or also the players. You hear some of the Brady defenders saying they have a bad O-line, saying the run game is not that great, saying that there needs to be more talent around Tom Brady, even though he has Mike Evans as the #1 receiver, Chris Godwin is #2, and Julio freaking Jones as his #3 wide receiver. And yes, his O-line has dealt with injuries. They have some problems blocking in the run game, but they've protected Brady quite nicely. Brady is actually one of the least sacked QBs in the NFL out of QBs who've actually played games. You have Tom Brady here at 13th least sack.
Pressure doesn't sack Tom Brady. You have to get there with 4, and now he is fired up talking to his offense on the sideline.
With 22 sacks on the season, but take a look at who has less sacks than Brady. It's all people who've not even played a full season. Tua has been out significantly. Deshaun Watson had his problems. Dak, Cooper Rush played instead of him. Heineke, Colt McCoy, Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously Trey Lance and Brock Purdy have limited his snaps. So these are all QBs, the QBs who've been sacked less than Brady this year, who literally just haven't even started every other game. So out of all the people who've actually started most of the games, Brady's the least sacked QB. And he still appears frustrated, yells at teammates a lot. People in the media blame everybody else besides Tom Brady, even though if you're a QB looking for a team and you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster, you definitely say, yeah, bro, I'm down to slide in here and see what I can do. But it seems like Brady even knows internally that his time is done. He's 45 years old. He'll be 46 years old next year.
And as he told us, I'm going to take a lot of time. There's going to be no limit on how long I take. I'll know when I know.
He was once a great quarterback, but he cannot move the same. He cannot throw the same. And even though for his brand, he has to point the finger at other people, it's because he has to have that confidence. He has to have that swagger. He knows deep down that he ain't the same Tom Brady.
So Tom Brady looked like he had looked all year long. Bad.
And in his press conference last night, it seemed like he was saying farewell.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys, so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Now, we don't know if this is about the local reporters. We know Tom Brady could possibly go to the Raiders, and the Raiders are really the only destination that makes sense for Tom Brady to have one last year. But his tone seemed like it may be over. Maybe he was saying things because this is going to be his last press conference ever. Maybe he knows deep down his body can not only not go through another full season in the NFL, but also training camp and all the practice you need to do just to make things happen during these games. But we know there is going to be one guy who is desperate to have Tom Brady have his last season with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it really just doesn't make sense, because once you lose Tom Brady, then what? Then what's going to happen with the Raiders? Who's going to be the QB then? They'll be right back in a rebuild mode. And the Raiders don't have a roster that could compete with the Buccaneers right now. Now, in terms of weapons, when healthy, the Raiders with Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Waller, if they all stay healthy, plus Josh Jacobs at running back, those are great skill positions compared to Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Leonard Fournette Fournette. It's an upgrade, but it's not a significant upgrade. Plus the offensive line, we know the Raiders offensive line is not as talented as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line right now. And the defense, don't even get me started. There is absolutely no comparison for the Raiders defense and the Bucs defense right now. But Mark Davis has always appeared infatuated with Tom Brady. We know Tom Brady, when he wins a championship or just on any given moment, he might give you a smooch on the lips. There's a long history of this happening in several different situations. I think Josh McDaniels has even gotten a little bit of a smooch sesh with Tom Brady. So maybe Mark Davis is down to put all his chips in this year in 2023 for Tom Brady because he just wants one smooch. And it does feel almost a little planned. Brady doesn't win a Super Bowl, then he wins one. This has happened throughout the years. Did not win in 2021 and did not win in 2022, that we have finally broken with the pattern. Will he pursue another championship next year? That is the question. And I really hope Tom Brady does retire. And after this horrible performance, it seems like it's a little more likely. But if he does play, we know the Raiders are going to be the destination. There's not any other place where he can hit the ground running. But I hope the Raiders elect to draft a quarterback anyways, because you got to compete against these other teams right now who have their quarterback situation settled. You know, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson. And if the Raiders could find somebody in the draft, somebody serviceable, use that $60 million in cap space to build a loaded defense, build a great O-line, then you might have one of these bargain QBs on a rookie contract, and you might be in an even better situation than the Chiefs, than the Chargers, than the Broncos. And look at all the teams in the playoffs right now, whether it be the Bengals, the Bills, the Jaguars, the Chiefs, the Eagles. All these teams have a quarterback who at one point was on a rookie contract while they were playoff contenders. And if Josh McDaniels really does think he's such a great QB guru, if he really does believe that he can take a high school QB and turn him into an all-pro, then why does he need Brady? Why do we need to spend this money on Brady? Why do we got to waste this time with this old guy? He should be able to pick up his own QB, develop his own QB, or maybe just roll with Jarrett Stidham if he doesn't get his guy in the draft. And it almost feels like if Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels sold Mark Davis on a long-term plan like they said they did, then perhaps they won't want to go for Tom Brady because that doesn't make sense for the long term. I do not think Brady would be cool with the Raiders using their number 7 overall pick on a QB in the draft. He's going to want them to build resources for that defense so they can make a bull run. But when will the Raiders get this opportunity again? When will they be drafting this high again where they could maybe trade up? Odds are next season, especially if you roll with Tom Brady, you're going to have a much higher draft pick. They need to take advantage of this opportunity now to find their franchise QB. And if Mark Davis really believes in Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, then he needs to give them the opportunity to draft their young guy. Either way, let me know what you want the Raiders to do. Draft a QB or roll with Tom Brady in 2023. Like this video if you have not yet, and subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.